Go on, say hi. I can't say anybody's name. Hey, Ashley. Hope you had a good New Year, babe. There we go. I'm like smoking hot in this car right now. Super hot. Hello, everybody. Just gonna give it a minute while everyone pops on. At 10 a.m. Y'all. I'm excited though because if you follow my stories, my faucet and my handles for the kitchen come in today. I'm hoping to order the cabinet or the countertops today. We'll see. I'm super excited. All right, so I want to talk about how I find balance. I've been asked this question so many times this past week. I'm not sure what brought it up. Maybe it's just the new year and people just want, new motivation and stuff. But I've been asked it quite a lot. And I figure what better way than go live, right? A lot of my team follow me on Facebook and stuff too. So if you follow my stories, if you follow my Instagram, my Facebook, my stories, whatever, you know how busy of a person I am. We just bought a house, if you don't know. We just bought a house. We are renovating our entire house between the front of the house, the back of the house. All the bathrooms are going to be completely gutted with brand new stuff in it. Our kitchen is brand new, and we do it all of ourselves. So we are like our own little couple fixer-upper crew, which is pretty cool. But we are so busy, so busy. So long story short, when I joined Scentsy, it's been a year and a half now. I joined. I did not do good. I failed very fast. I want to say it was like 6 months after I joined. I'd failed, whatever. I didn't work it. I stayed active. And then long story short, I jumped back in like March and completely took off. I promoted to director in 2 months. And my team is just doing amazing. Like our group is so amazing. They're such hard workers. I'm so thankful for our team. If y'all are on here, I'm so proud of you guys. Now, it's crazy because I remember when Rachel, who's my sponsor, was telling me all this stuff about, when you join, you could be just like so-and-so, you could make this much money, you could do all this stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's not typical. Like a typical person like me wouldn't be able to be successful. Like that's not a thing. And I remember always thinking that and just saying like, oh, okay, well, I'm happy if I make a car payment. That was my goal, was a car payment. I wanted this 4Runner, and that's what kind of got me back into jumping into it, because I was like, if I could give it a little bit of effort, I can make a car payment. And so I did that. I put effort in and I made way more than a car payment. But all that to say where I am now, and I don't say this in a gloating matter. I don't say this as a bragging tool. And if you take it that way, that's on you, not on me. But I feel like people really need to know the truth. They need to talk money. They need to understand, or they need to hear it. It's so easy to see someone's life and be like, oh yeah, they have it easy. No, we didn't have it easy. We did not have it easy. Me and Ryan lived paycheck to paycheck. When I worked, Easton's entire first year I worked, I was not a stay-at-home mom. I pulled money out of my savings account to pay for daycare. $100 a week, because I didn't have $100 a week to spend. And I pulled it out of my savings. So I feel like people need to realize that money does matter, and when you talk about it, people aren't gloating when they talk about it. People aren't gloating. It's an accomplishment. Like my kitchen is a freaking accomplishment. I will share that left and right. If anyone takes that as me gloating about it, then I guess that's how you'll take it, because I am proud of my kitchen. I'm proud of our work that we put in. Me and Ryan are probably one of the 2 hardest workers that I know. I don't know. I grew up that way. My dad is a hard worker. I grew up in a household that it was always 50-50. Like I would see my mom washing dishes and I would see my dad with a rag over his shoulder drying them. Like I grew up in a household of like, you have responsibilities. You have to do things the hard way. Things aren't easy. And so when I talk about that and when I mention like, I'm so thankful for our life right now. Like 2020 was the best year of me and Ryan's life, and it didn't come easy. It didn't get handed to us. It didn't just happen. Like I'm not someone that stuff like this just happens to, right? We had a group of friends that were very toxic to us. Not going to get into that, but we lost all of our friends this year, and that's okay. Like, that's okay, because you know what? The month that we lost all of our friends for something that wasn't even our fault, so the same month that we lost all of our friends, our entire life changed. Like, everything positive that came into our life came after we changed our circle. And I put that in there because I also think that if you want to talk about balance, I feel like, what's wrong, bud? Oh, the sun, sorry. So I feel like when we talk about balance, we talk about your circle. Who are you hanging around? Who are you being inspired by? Who are you inspiring? Who are you just surrounding yourself with? I got to a point in my life where I was like done being blown up 24/7 with drama. I was done sitting in a garage smoking cigarettes. I was done like in this toxic like life that me and Ryan had. And it's not saying that we didn't have good times, because we did. It's just, and that's not what we're talking about. I'm just talking about, we look back now, 7-8 months later, and we're just like, gosh, everything changed when our circle changed. And that's just the truth. Yeah. What? We're going to get some, buddy.
No.
Okay. Your shoe?
No.
Did it fall off? Your shoe fell off? Okay. So, when we talk about balance, when I talk about balance, I feel like, what is wrong? Asen, I can't help you right now. Him and his shoes. Good Lord. If his shoe falls off, it's the end of the world. It's okay, buddy. We'll get it on in a minute. So when I talk about balance, one of my biggest things is look at your circle. If you are waking up in the morning and it's drama from the night before, it's not your circle. What is the matter? It fell?
Yeah.
I don't think it fell. I think you threw it, is what I just saw. You're gonna make me crash in the middle of the road. I can't grab it, buddy. I can't reach it. Hold on, guys. There. Don't throw it again. All right, anyways. So when we talk about balance, I think the first and foremost thing that I can tell you is your circle. Who are you surrounding yourself with? This is where Scentsy comes into play. Like, the girls in Scentsy are like no other that I've ever met in my entire life. Like, it's so crazy. Like, you talk about these communities and like people think that MLMs are BS and they're fake and whatever. And I'm here to tell you, I don't think that, because I have never been so loved, so inspired, so confident, so anything in my entire life until I fully joined into Scentsy. Like, until I fully gave Scentsy and like the family my everything. The girls are just 1 in a million. They're 1 in a million. So I really feel like finding balance with the people around you is very important, okay? I feel like at this point in my life, I want to be around people that are like-minded like me. So if you want to change your life, if you want to own a business, join a business, whatever, like, if you want more out of life than just nothing, I don't know, that's just people that I want to be around. And I feel like that has completely changed my outlook on life. It completely has changed it. It's crazy how much I haven't had drama in so long. I can't even remember. It's so weird and refreshing at the same time. I used to be so worried about so many things in our group, and I just like, it's just so nice now. And I don't care about anyone seeing this because they're all not my friends anymore on Facebook and Instagram, so it doesn't matter to me. But anyways, so first and foremost, the friendship. Secondly, I think also I was so used to always being busy I used to work 2 jobs and play softball. I literally used to work 2 jobs and play softball. I played travel ball. I just always have been busy and on the go. I guess that was just like how I grew up, so it's normal to me. When I went to college, I was a huge partier. That's a given. I was a huge partier. I probably went out drinking Monday through Sunday. Not even kidding you. I think the only reason I didn't gain the freshman 15 is because I danced all my calories off every single night. But it didn't help me in the long run. So anyways, I just remember I used to pull like all-nighters doing homework and studying for tests and quizzes and doing essays, and I'm so used to just being so busy. And then when I met Ryan, I was finishing out my degree. We had just moved in together. Like, my life has just always been busy. So I think being a busybody is just normal to me. I don't know. So when people are asking me this week, it's kind of hard for me to answer because I'm just like, I don't know. I've always been busy, and I've always been proud that I'm a hard worker. Like, I love to know that I don't like to sit back. So that's one of my biggest struggles is like, even when me and Ryan are like home and say like I'm exhausted, like beyond belief, even when I'm like exhausted, I still can't sit back and watch him work and not me help. So even though I'm so exhausted, have nothing left in me, if Ryan's doing something, I gotta be doing something. If someone else is working, I just can't sit down and not work. Like, that's just who I am. Probably got it from my mom as well, because my mom is someone that never sits down ever. She doesn't know what a chair feels like. I'm at the point where I'm about to buy a standing desk. So I think it's always come natural. But what I can tell you for my Scentsy girls on here, or anyone trying to balance out your life, for one, first and foremost, when I have my Scentsy, yeah, buddy. Yeah. Did Sissy fell asleep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want juice.
You want juice?
Yeah.
You want her juice?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're fine.
Yeah. So yeah, I talk about balance. First and foremost, your circle. Your circle needs to change, okay? That's the biggest thing, because your life, I don't really feel like you could ever really change until you change your circle. That is the biggest thing. I even remember, like, when I jumped back into Scentsy, those friends, one of them thought I was competing with her. I have no idea why. And the other, like, they both didn't support me. One of them thought I was competing with her. The other one would just make jokes about how annoying I was, like, posting Scentsy stuff, right? And I remember that, like, feeling like every time I post something that she would comment back and be like, some kind of sarcastic comment. That's not a friend. I see it now that we're not friends. I see how toxic it was, and how I'm like, and I remember I used to confront it a few times, but it's just crazy because now that, like, we are not friends at all, and like none of my old friend group is a part of like my Instagram, it's so freeing. Like, I feel like they were the only ones that I cared about, because I always felt like I was trying to prove something. I was trying to prove them wrong. Like when they were like, oh, you're competing. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not competing. And then every time I would post, I would question myself, are they going to take this as me posting against them? Like, that's not friendship. That's toxic, okay? That's so toxic. So if you have friends like that, I don't care how long. Some of these friends Ryan has been friends with for 15 years or 10 years, whatever. It's toxic, okay? When you find someone that truly loves you and is truly your friend, you will never have to question intentions, okay? You will never have to question intentions. You will never have an issue speaking up and talking to someone one-on-one. So more than anything, I really, really feel like changing your circle. I just will always go back to that. Thirdly, I should say, is finding time. So my Scentsy people on here, if you are having a hard time between family, working, if you have a full-time job, you're a stay-at-home mom, whatever, they're equally hard. They're hard in their own ways. Yeah, it was super toxic. They're all hard. I was a working mom with Easton. I'm a stay-at-home mom to both now. When I worked, I remember how upset and frustrated I used to get because I didn't have enough time to spend with my kids. I would get 2 hours a night with Easton, and I just remember feeling so upset about it all the time. And it was so hard. I would have to like go to work for 13 hours. I used to see like 60 patients. If I worked a 13 to 14 hour shift, I'd probably see 70 patients. I don't know. And it was just exhausting. I had to come home and be a mom and cook and clean and whatever. And I remember how exhausting that was. And now that I'm at home, I can also tell you it's just as exhausting, if not more exhausting, because you don't get a mental break. At least at work, you get somewhat of a mental break, but at home, it's mom 24/7, maid 24/7, snack bitch 24/7. Sorry for my language. It's just true. So I feel like there used to be this big like stamina between stay-at-home moms and working moms. It doesn't matter anymore in the COVID time. I feel like every working mom that used to judge a stay-at-home mom, which I used to be one of those, I will fully admit, now that they had to stay at home because of COVID, they understand how hard it is too. And I feel like dads the same way that didn't understand how tired moms were, or vice versa, the moms that worked and dads that stayed at home, whatever, are finally getting a taste of like, oh my gosh, this is hard. So finding balance in all of this is so very hard. My biggest thing that I've had to do is, because we're in the renovation phase and we spend, like, even last night we didn't go to bed till midnight, and Ryan, we both got up at 4:45 this morning, so we got 4.5 hours of sleep last night, if that. It was probably 12:45 when I went to bed. But it's sacrifice. So when I think about it, I seriously think about, what do you want out of your life? That's literally what I feel like. What do you want out of your life? You could sit back and work your 9 to 5, your 6 to 6 like I worked, whatever. But when you sit there and you're like, and you're a dreamer, I was always a dreamer. I wish I could do this. I wish I could be at home. I wish I could afford this. I wish I could do this. What are you doing about it? So what needs to get done? I told one of the girls yesterday that I was talking to, when she asked me about balance as well, I said, what are you doing to change it? I want you to write a list down, and and in that list, write down what you want out of life. What do you want? Do you want to stop being a slave to corporate? Do you want to get out of the corporate? I was so sick and tired of having to call my boss when my kid was sick. Easton was always sick. I always had to call my boss and call in. And I remember how I hated doing that, because it was never like, oh my God, I hope he feels better. Sometimes it was kind of like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, I have no one to cover you. And I'm like, I don't know. I have no one to watch my kid that's sick. I don't know what to tell you. And so now I don't have to worry about that. Like, I'm home with my kid, and if he's sick or she's sick, which they both have been sick, I don't have to work if I don't want to. Like, I can take a day off. I can take a breather. Like, that is the difference between, you know, then and now with me, I guess, is I am not a slave to corporate. I told myself that 1 year after Remy was born, I would go back to work. 1 year. I am now, I don't even know, 16 months in. She turns 2 in August, so however long that is. And that is not going to work, because that is super bright in my eyes. And Easton's, people freak out. Hold on, guys. That's probably better. Yeah. Okay, so, literally, with Easton, yeah, it's just now I don't have to take off work, wherever I was at in that statement. So now becomes the struggle of, how do I be the best mom I can be? How do I work? And I work Scentsy full time. Scentsy's my full-time job. Again, if you take this as a bragging, that's on you. But Scentsy, when I look at it, I don't have an option. I don't have an option to sit back and relax. I don't have an option to take off. I don't have an option to not want to get out of bed and not work, because Scentsy pays my mortgage. When I get my Scentsy paycheck, all of our bills are paid. In one day, from one paycheck, I will input my income disclosure. From one paycheck, I pay my mortgage, I pay my car payments, my car insurance, my phone bill. I pay every single bill with my Scentsy paycheck, and I still have a little bit left over for Scentsy for all my supplies and stuff. That's a freaking blessing. So when I sit here and I talk about, when people ask me, how do you find balance? How do you make time for Scentsy? I don't have an option. So if I'm behind 3 weeks of follow-ups, I did it right before Christmas. Right before Christmas, I had one of my friends watch my kids for a day for me. I didn't even really get anything done. So the next day, it was like 2 days. So the next day, Christmas Eve, or the day before that, whatever, I stayed up until 3 a.m. I think it was almost 3 a.m. I stayed up and I worked. I worked for 5 solid hours until 3 a.m. because I knew that if I went into Christmas 3 weeks behind on customer follow-ups, I was going to be so stressed out. So when I find struggles and I don't find time, I make time. So Ryan's been off for 2 weeks, and we've been doing renovations left and right. Okay. So that's thrown me off. I've slept in when I shouldn't be sleeping in. His parents have been over our house 4 days in a row. Ryan and me have been working until 1 a.m. in the morning, trying to get the kitchen put together for him before he goes back to work. That was our biggest goal. And I sat back and I realized it's okay. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to take a break. It's okay. But what's not okay is to stay there. It's not okay to be like, oh, my team's doing work and I don't need to, I'm good. No, that's not okay. So guess what? While Ryan was off, I still had conversations with people. I may not have, y'all probably have hardly saw Scentsy on my Instagram, my stories, but I've talked to people, I've booked parties. So when I say find balance, find time. If it means getting up an hour before the kids, get up an hour before the kids. I will tell you, that has been a game changer in my anxiety. If y'all know me, I have horrible anxiety. Some days I have really bad panic attacks, anxiety attacks, whatever they are, attacks. I had one so bad a few weeks ago, I swear I wanted to go to the hospital because I thought my heart was going to come out of my chest. it is a hard struggle, and I know a lot of people struggle with anxiety. And so one of my biggest things I found was that I'm anxious when I'm overwhelmed, and I'm overwhelmed when I am not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I got overwhelmed when I realized at one point I was 6 weeks behind on my mail. 6 weeks of customer mail. I had like 60 something people I had to send out mail to. So what I did was, all right, Courtney, 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day we're going to spend on just customer mail and follow-ups, and that's what we're going to do. And so that's what I did. I did that for like a week. And every day I spent 1 hour in the morning or 1 hour at night, or both if I had time. And I strictly worked on customer follow-ups. And I got to a point where I got caught up for 3 weeks. I had like 20 people left, and I did that before Christmas. That's how I find balance. And I will tell you that getting up before the kids, so Ryan gets up at 4:45, and this is where I come into play of like, when I come into the sense of when someone's working, I have to be working. So I don't think that it's fair for me to sleep in and Ryan has to get up at 4:45. Why? Yeah, I sleep in maybe once or twice a week, but 9 times out of 10, I'm up at 4:45 with Ryan. I'm making his coffee for him. I'm packing his lunch for him, because that gets my brain, that gets me going. If Ryan were to just get up and walk out the door and not wake me up, not turn the light on, I would stay in bed, and I do it all the time. If he doesn't get me up, or if he doesn't turn the light on, or doesn't wake me up with him, I go back to sleep. And so me and him had a one-on-one where it was like, hey, I want to wake up with you. I want to be as productive as you. I want to get 3 hours of solid Scentsy done. That way I can enjoy my kids all day. Or for if anyone's working, get 2 or 3 hours of work done, and maybe, or an hour of work and an hour of housework. And that way, when you go to work and you come home, your housework's done, your Scentsy's done, you have family time. You have to find a balance of what do you want, but you have to realize too that when you're sitting there, you have to have a goal. What do you want in life? Like, what is your biggest dream? Okay, like that, I feel like could be the most powerful tool you could ever have. But you have to have the fire in you. No one can give that fire to you. Nobody can give the fire to you. I can't give it to you. My video can't give it to you. No one can give it to you. You have to sit back and be like, hey, this is what I want out of my life. It's the same with working out. You could sit there and look at motivation videos all day, but at the end of the day, what do you feel? Are you motivated? Do you want to lose weight? If you're unhappy with your weight, change it. Okay? You're in control of your own decisions, literally. And I've had that talk with myself all the time. We used to work out all the time, and then we got into renovations. We both haven't worked out in 3 months, and we set a goal. Once this kitchen, it's almost done now. At this point, we're just waiting for our countertops. But in between this waiting period for our countertops, I'm like, all right, it's garage time. Let's go fill these holes. Let's go paint the walls, and let's set our freaking gym up. Let's set ourselves up for success in February. Like, this is our goal. We haven't worked out. We both gained like 5 or 6 pounds, and I'm not happy about it. I can feel it in my face, but guess what? I am the only one that can change that. Nobody else can change it. Nobody. I am the only one. So you have to, if you seriously are looking at like how to find motivation, you've got to have a talk with yourself and find it for yourself. Yeah, buddy. You're all done? Here, I'll take it. You got it? You want me to hold it? I'll get you more in a minute, buddy. So, what's wrong? No. Do you want to get nuggets? No nuggets? What about fries? No fries? Okay, we don't want anything. So you just have to find balance. You have to, I really strongly encourage you to sit down with your spouse, your loved one, or yourself, whatever. Easton holiday. Do not kick my chair again. I understand you want juice. I don't have any juice on me. He just had two cups of juice. He literally just had 2 cups of juice. Easton, you just had 2 cups. You just had Sissy's and yours. So he's decided to boycott eating and go straight to just drinking juice all day and milk and fill himself up on that. Easton holiday. Where are your shoes at? So anyways, wrap this up because he's about to start losing it. My hair is everywhere. If you're trying to find balance in your life, I really feel like you need to sit down. Easton holiday. Hey. Look at me. Hey. Do not kick my chair again. Don't kick my chair again. Your hat? Hold on, guys. You're welcome. His hat. So, long story short, what I'm trying to get at in all this too is I really encourage you to sit down with your spouse, your loved one, yourself, and just write down a list. What is important to you? What are your goals in life? Like, and I'm not talking, I want to make enough money to have a car payment. No, what are your scary goals? What scares the crap out of you? Like when you go write it down and you want to erase it because you're like, that's not possible. That's a dream. That's a goal. My biggest one is to retire Ryan. I want to make enough money every single month to literally take place of Ryan's income. That's my goal. I have a goal that in 2-3 years, maybe 5 years, the maximum, I want to get Ryan out of the shipyard. Even if it's in next year or this year into a job that's more local, like the post office. He can work on the post office government, because the post office is government, so he can work on the government cars, being a mechanic. Yeah. Stop throwing it. So even this year, like one of our goals this year was to get Ryan out of the shipyard, to get him into a closer job. He doesn't have to get up at 4:45. He can get up at 6 o'clock and get to a job at 7. Like those are goals that I feel like should scare the crap out of you, but should also light a fire in your ass. Like literally should light a fire in you where you're like, we're doing it. This morning when we woke up, Ryan even said he like got up, he turned the light on after he got himself ready, and he's like, you need to get up today. And I was like, yeah, I'm getting up with you. And he was like, yeah, I need you to go make something happen so I can get out of getting up and going to the shipyard this early. That's literally what he said this morning. And it was so crazy because he said that right after I had conversations like the last 3 or 4 days with all these people about like balancing and motivation. It is what it is. And so I get up in the morning at 4:45 and I work until 7:45, get the kids up, we do breakfast. They go down for a nap from 12 to 2, and I work from 12 to 2. I'm going to start adding in a workout. I'm going to work out and then work for an hour and a half. And then when Ryan gets home, I'm done. I have my business hours. My team does not message me after 3:30 p.m. And then it's family time and it's renovation time. So then I spend the whole afternoon doing renovations. And then the kids go down to bed at like 7:45, 8:30. And then Ryan finishes up in the kitchen or whatever renovations we're doing, Ryan finishes. And then I go and I finish up my work for the day and then I'm done. Like that's what I do. So I probably put in a solid 5 hours a day of Scentsy. And then in between all of that, yeah, I'll message customers and I'll have texting and stuff like that. But that's what I do. So I encourage you, if you are working full time and you have a family, get up an hour early. Just get up 1 hour early. 1 hour, do your dishes, your laundry, and work for 30 minutes. Or if you don't have a side business, then do your laundry, your dishes, have a cup of coffee and get your brain together. It has helped my anxiety so much. The days that I wake up with the kids, like when Easton's yelling at my door and he's like, Mom, 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 and I'm waking up and I'm like, oh my God, nothing's ready. I didn't get up in time to do this for my customer. I wasn't able to package this. I got to make breakfast now. Milk is not ready. I got to get diapers. Like I start my day off so freaking hectic. But the days that I get up with Ryan, I am able to start my coffee. While my coffee is brewing, I go and either finish out like putting the dishes away, or I do the dishes and then I go and do laundry, and then I'll go sit down and work for 3 hours. 3 hours of solid work. I don't put Netflix on anymore. I maybe will put some music on and I sit down, I zone in and I work. And then I get up and it's family day. All this time I have with my family. We can go shopping, we can go outside, we can do whatever we want. And then nap time, I work out and I do Scentsy. That's what I do. So that way, if you have a full-time job and you're up an hour and a half early, have some you time. Put the dishes away so you don't have to do them when you get home. Sometimes in the morning before the kids get up, I meal prep. I literally will make like spaghetti first thing in the morning, or chicken first thing in the morning, put it in the oven. That way when the kids get up, all I have to do is shred it, put barbecue in it with my broccoli, and my meal prep is done. So that way when Ryan gets home, we have dinner. So I really encourage you to just write down a list of like stuff, like write down a list. And I never go to bed with a dirty sink. I never, ever, that is Ryan's biggest pet peeve of mine, is that the dishes have to be done before I go to bed. So I made him install my faucet last night because I was like, the dishes are stacking up. I need to do them. And he's like, the new faucet's coming in tomorrow. And I'm like, well, I need my faucet right now. So we had to put a faucet in last night from the old sink. But anyways, So I encourage you, like, write down a list and write what's stressing you out. So write down a list of what's stressing you out. What stressed me out is that I didn't have enough time in the day to do laundry, dishes, and hang out with my kids and do Scentsy. So I fixed it. I got up early and I fixed it. So if you're having an issue, find a solution. Yeah, buddy. Okay, we're gonna go. So find a solution. Get with your spouse, your loved one. Write down a list of dreams and goals. Me and Ryan are gonna do our list this week of our goals, our income goals, our family goals, all the things that we want to accomplish in 2021, and then our 5-year goals. What is wrong? All right, we need to go take a nap. All right, but that is it. So that is how I do balance. That is my best advice I can give anybody that is struggling with just family and work in general, and maybe family, work, and a side job, whatever. But Scentsy has changed my life, and I'm still trying to find balance, because if you see us, our life is crazy in renovation. So if I can make it work through full-time renovations, a side business, 2 kids that are doing this all day, you can do it as well, I promise you. So that is it. Love you guys. Bye.